The following broadcast is a Nighthawk Network presentation. This is Get Off My Lawn Live. Join us as we talk trending topics, world and local issues, and the conversations that we need to talk about as people. Get Off My Lawn Live is a Nighthawk Network presentation. Good evening, everybody. Sorry about that little glitch right there. This is Get Off This Lawn Live. I am your host, Eric Buckner, E-Buck the Nighthawk in the building, ready to talk to you, the people, in regards to what we got going on this evening. Already got people checking in. Hey, friend Eric. Hey, friend, what's going on? Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. We got Dr. Marla Facey checking in. Hey, cuz, how you doing? I'm doing good, cuz. Thank you for viewing with us this evening. Hopefully, Dr. Marla Facey will be able to join me next week as my co-host for Get Off This Lawn Live. We got a few topics, and I would love to discuss them with her. She is always a good co-host to have on the show. So look forward to seeing and listening to you next week, cuz. What up, brother? We got other folks checking in. I do believe that is my good man, Big Red, checking in the building. What's up, Easy? I know that is Coach V. What up, Coach V? What's happening? Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. Thank you all for coming. This is Get Off This Lawn Live. E-Buck in the building. Tonight, our topics will be adulting. Sup, don't it? Because we're going to have that discussion. Part of it going to just be a discussion. Part of it just therapy. Part of it is just us adults appreciating that we got some things that we are learning and all of it ain't good. Excited to be with you. Absolutely, cuz. Looking forward to it. The second topic for discussion this evening, I'm going to allow you, you Trump people, you Trump supporters, this is your opportunity to convince me and my audience that your candidate, your boy, DJT, is the guy for us in 2024. But wait, before you do that, I got a few things I got to ask y'all to clear up before you do it. Me, says one of the people. Okay, we got a DJ person in the house. Please, please, please go nowhere. We most definitely want to hear from you. That part of the show is dedicated just to you. And I promise to have an open mind if you have one in return, okay? And remember, we're going to keep it respectful in the comments, y'all, because I know the vast majority of the people that will tune in are not DJ T supporters. But for the sake of this argument, we're going to be open-minded about it. And we want the DJT people to be open-minded as well, okay? That's all we ask. Look at my cousin. Heck to the no. He needs to be locked up. He committed treason. Now, okay, cuz, hold on. We're going to keep it even Steven right now. We're going to have a chance to discuss all of that when we get there, okay? But first, we are going to have this discussion. My guy Pride Hunter is in the building. What up, Pride? Got a lot of y'all checking in tonight. Nice size audience. Good. We are also being joined by the Partying app audience. Shout out to you guys for being a part of this discussion this evening. The Partying SG app is one of the social media platforms that I'm broadcasting on right now. I'm going to give a good friend of mine the opportunity to explain it to y'all a little further. And next couple of weeks, have them on the show and have them talk perhaps have one of you guys in the party app join us as well to talk about your experiences going on there. Yes, sir, says Marlon. All right. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay. First topic today, partying is not what adults are doing right now. We all said that statement. Okay. Are you streaming on TikTok yet? Good question, Amy. I'm not quite ready to go there. I need to have a little powwow with a couple of my folks that's on there before I really get to that. I realize that probably would be a good media platform for me to work on at some point, but I still have my concerns. What up, though, from Black Phillip? What up, Black Phillip? What's happening? Queen Gemini letting us know she'll be right back. All right, Queen, tune on back in. All right, and FBI is owned by the Democrats. Matter of fact, owned by Hillary Clinton. Pretty much so. Who says that did not plant stuff? Talking about the FBI. Now, see, people already want to get into that subject. If y'all could just hold on to that, to after this first discussion, I promise I want to address everything you have to say, particularly if you're down with DJT. Because, see, we already got the comments flowing just on what you said. Hey, Eric, what's going on, Road? Shout out to Road to Stardom. Let me let y'all know about Road right quick, because I owe her that much. That is Road to Stardom. That is the symbol of Road to Stardom. She is a broadcaster. She does a radio show. And one day we're gonna have her on the show to talk about her platform and what she got going. So I want more people to follow and support her music and what she does in the music industry for the people. Because I think it's awesome. So shout out to you, Rose. Thanks for that. All right. Of course, Trump hasn't done anything at all ever, says my cousin. Yeah, right. Amy says, hey, don't forget to click the StreamYard link on the video to allow your name to come up with comments. That's how we can identify you guys that are coming up as Facebook users so we can know who is who, because I'm not having access to my other thing at this point. All right. Again, people are already jumping to the comments in regards to the other subject. Okay. Agent Orange is a criminal, and he pled the fifth. Didn't he criticize everyone and said, if you take the fifth, you got something to hide? He is a criminal. And it wouldn't surprise me if he isn't behind this thing with Brittany, as in Brittany Griner. Now, you know, that's a sore subject with me, Big Meech. You know, I feel very strongly about freeing Brittany Griner and how she is being used as a political pawn by his good buddy, Vladimir Putin. Remember, those guys, they cool like that. He might be trying to set up to where, yeah, when I come on back in, that's when I'll go ahead and let Brittany go. So I can say, see what I did. But okay, again, we're not ready to get into that yet. Is it me or is he froze up? I don't know if y'all see me as froze up. You can let me know. Boy, Big Meat, you right, says Cuz. Okay, again, y'all can hold them comments for about good 20 minutes or so while I do this adult topic. And then we will definitely get into him. I'm glad y'all fired up about this. But I want to talk about being an adult first, if you don't mind. It's you. He ain't froze at all, says Cuz. Thank you for that. All right. So, people, let's talk about adulting for a minute. We all, if we had them good parents or that good village of people in our lives, at some point as a child heard that phraseology, you just don't know. Be a child while you still can. When you get grown, it's gonna be a whole nother story. Y'all remember somebody telling y'all that when you was little? Lord knows I did. I do definitely remember that because that's something I got told quite often. But keep in mind, being a young man that was put in adult type positions kind of led me to have those thoughts early on. You can't say stay in a child's place when you constantly have me in positions to where you expect me to be an adult. However, I feel that was to my benefit as I have then learned the importance of some of the things that I was being taught or being allowed to experience at an earlier age. Because checking back in, right now when it comes to adulting, we can't put Trump and the word adult in the same category because you can't adult and be Trump at the same time. And there was some symbol with that that I am not able to see here on the yard. But yeah, that's a whole nother story again. We're gonna get there. Let me hurry up and do this because y'all really want to get into that bad. And we want to get people what they want. But anyway, we are now learning as adults. It's probably harder now being an adult than it's ever been. If we really think about it. Let's break this down for a minute. I got my notes here. First of all, let's talk about the bills. Now, ideally, if you are fortunate enough, your bills are minimal. In other words, you got your basic light bill, your water bill, you got your insurance for your car note, those types of things. You got those basic bills and you making more than enough money to take care of that, kudos to you. Good job. But the vast majority of the people that's probably in this room, we probably don't equate to that. We probably are not in that space. Just juggling those particular bills alone is problematic, particularly if you are a person like myself, like the bigster that's in the room, those single people with no dependents, where they tax us big time on the check, and we got to work with what's left. That is a lot to contend with. Then, if you want to have a life beyond just the basic, saying you want to have stuff like cable and Hulu Plus and all that type of stuff, you want to buy some extra furniture, some nice stuff, but got to pay off the layaway or the extended warranty plan and all that type of stuff. That's all extra money that a lot of us are scrambling to do. And then, of course, there are those of us who have suffered from the pandemic and are still trying to catch up some of those things. Those are just that scope of bills. Now, if you are a homeowner and you own a home that is of a particular age, where things are constantly going awry, where things are starting to chip and peel and wither away and become warped and not be so good, those are all the things you have to contend with in terms of that. And those costs can be catastrophic at times. And then, of course, there's that part of life that we are shielded from, where things happen in the world, and that basically leads you to be in a bad place. I mean, COVID was something that we all had. Nobody was ready for COVID. Let's be honest. Not even the people that talk about it for a living, the Dr. Fauci's and stuff of the world, they couldn't have known that COVID was going to have the type of effect that it did. And now, of course, we got to add monkeypox. We got to add polio. We got to add global warming and heat stroke and everything else. It get real ugly real quick. Big Meat's checking in saying single people with no dependents are the purse string of America. We don't get any tax breaks or incentives. That sucks dirty butt cheeks on a hot day. Indeed, Meach, you know, we both feel that way about it, that they dig in our pockets first and deep. And then when it's time for the taxes come back, while all of y'all party all the time, we in turn don't get to do much of nothing because our get back ain't nowhere near yours. Not to be hating. I mean, in the end, we can go on out there and put a couple in and wah and all that, but it ain't that deep. It ain't that deep. No, thank you. Because that's another thing we got to talk about in terms of this adulting. It's hard enough to maintain yourself, but then if you add in the fact that many of us have children and they have needs and they are not able to meet their needs for the most part financially, and you have to not only take care of them, but yourself as well, that's a lot on the plate. Just those two things. By right, there are many people viewing this right now that should not ever have a dime of money because it's all promised to either the bills, the future bills, or your children or your children's future. If they're considering college and you're going to help them with that and all that type of stuff. We got all that to deal with as adults. That's a lot of stress. Now, granted, we know how some of y'all deal with the stress, not to be acting all high and mighty, But y'all know some of y'all like to go ahead and get you some of that liquor or have you a couple smokes when it's all said and done, kind of calm your nerves and get you feeling a little better about it all. I ain't mad if you do that. I was that person at one point in my life. Let's calm down, relax, and hit this or have a couple drinks. But then we got to remember that stuff costs money too. Unless your good friend or your boo is the distributor or you know how to make some of that quality outdoor liquor or whatever. To each his own. But yeah, that's costing money, okay? Every time you invest in that. And that money could go to other stuff. But see, the thing is, being an adult and being responsible don't always go hand in hand. Sometimes we feel like, okay, I got this money. I'm not about to just be working, working, working and not benefit from the fruits of my labor in no way, shape, or form. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna buy this extra drink. I'm gonna buy this this. I'm gonna go to this concert. I deserve to go ahead and enjoy myself a little bit, despite my finances. Road to Stardom is saying, as kids, we couldn't wait to be adults. And now that we are adults, we wish we were kids again. That is what we really talking about. That is the crust of it, Rose. Because Lord knows, when Mama said there'll be days like this, there'll be days like this, my mama said, it was just a song. Now it's a way of life. Now I feel that song more than I ever did. I really, really understand what she meant by that. And I made sure I told her last time we spoke. And she just smiled like, mm-hmm. She felt me. But yeah, another thing, our friends in dealing with adulting, particularly if we have the type of friends that's always trying to keep up with us and we trying to keep up with them. And I got this nice thing and I want what my friend got and so on and so forth. In the ideal world, you better off just doing you. Shout out to Pastor Ken, whose broadcast I caught earlier this evening. The topic was basically be your own unique self. Stop trying to be somebody else. It reminded me of the song that is on the current Adele album. The lyrics pretty much go, I got to learn to get over myself and stop trying to be somebody else. Because when you do that, you put yourself in a situation where you add extra stress to your life. You come to an understanding that I don't feel right just doing what I do. The only way I can do better is to be somebody else. It should be about the quality of preparing yourself to be better in life, not living a better life for somebody else's. That should not be what adulting has become, where we look on TV and we want to be Kim K and have that type of money, or we want to have LeBron James or whatever type of money. You know what I'm saying? That our whole objective at that point is like, well, we can't do it the way they do it. Let me try to get this lottery going. Hopefully, hit that. We have to understand that as adults, the vast majority of us will never be millionaires or billionaires. We may always strive to be. I'm not trying to poo-poo on your dream, but when all is said and done, most of us we ain't gonna make that type of money. Particularly if you look like us, the people of color, those opportunities are even less for people like us. That's just the honest truth of the matter. But when all is said and done, you wake up every day and it's your responsibility as an adult to do what you can do to get things done. And we don't always go the best routes with it, unfortunately. We are not in a position where everything we do is going to be for our best interest or the best interest of our family and children. It is just the truth. All right, people checking in now. It's a responsibility. As an adult, we have to take on responsibility that many of us was forced to have at a young age. Amen. And never got the chance to live as kids. And now we still have those stress-free kid-only moments. Hey, well said, Meech. Amy, I think that one of our biggest problems as adults that we expect to do the same as those we look up to. It's like a poor man considering himself a temporarily embarrassed billionaire. Again, very thoughtful point, Amy, as always. Shout out to Tom Moody in the building here on the Party and app. Good evening, Tom. Thanks for joining us. Me checking back in. As if we take a moment to do so, we are then held to a higher standard of accountability. Exactly. Because people look at it from the standpoint that we as adults have to make all the right decisions all the time. We have had the opportunity as kids to learn what we should do. We've been properly prepared and set up to be adults when in actuality, many of us have not because the world is not set up for us to succeed. Our parents did not always set us up to succeed. And a lot of this is learned on the fly. And what we learned is some of us, we built to take it no matter what happens. And some of us, the first couple downfalls hit, we ready to throw in the towel. We ready to be like, I don't want to be here no more. I don't like it here. I want to do stuff to myself. And if one of y'all is tuning in, the ones that's constantly posting that on your social media, stop that piss, okay? Stop doing that. If you're doing it as a crap of help or attention or just to get some comments, don't do that. That's serious. You got people worried about you, and in the end, you just mad because you couldn't go out tonight, or you done had them $20 extra to get you something to drink. It ain't that deep. There are deeper things. What you will learn when you become an older adult, for those people in particular I'm talking to, no names in particular, but you know who you are. I'm gonna make sure I share this to you. That these things that you are concerned and worried about right now, it's all garbage, okay? When you get older, you start to get some more gray hair and all that, you'll realize that these things you deem as important were not such at all. Not at all. Just like we learned as older adults that a lot of this money that we blew in the clubs or hanging out or dealing with people, that's money we should have invested in our future. Money we should have invested in retirement and all that type of stuff. We don't think about those things in our 20s. It's all about fun, fun, fun. That's why when pandemic came, some of y'all, man, I ain't wearing no mask. Man, I ain't getting no shot. Man, I ain't staying in the house. I'm finally grown. I'm ready to get it on. It's party time. If I get it, I get it. Y'all dummies. Most of y'all still here, thank God. But some of y'all that had that, another story. Okay, cue up Patti LaBelle. Be yourself, she says. Be yourself. You can't be no one else. Keep your feet on the ground. Don't you give up. Right on, right on. Now, you know, I wish I could play that right now, Meech. But you know how Facebook is about us playing copyrighted music. Don't you know I actually got hit a couple weeks ago for playing my own music? The little beats that I made from Buck Beats, I actually got flagged for that. I can't play my own made music on here. Really, Book? Really? I made that. I pushed them buttons. I recorded that beat. That was me. I can't do me. Where they do that at? Who raised you? Again, another story for another day. But yeah, people, just know that y'all are not alone in this adulting thing, okay? We all struggle with it from time to time. We all don't wake up hunky dory. Even those that put on their best face every day, they always smiling, carrying on. When they are at peace and alone with themselves, we definitely have that moment of clarity where we say, you know, this ain't what I thought it was gonna be. I was better off that day when we sat on the porch and ate the ice cream. Them was some of my better days, and I just didn't know. Just that time sitting there playing Pac-Man. A lot less stress than what's going on now. So just want to have that discussion with y'all because remember, you are not alone in that endeavor, okay? We are all adulting kind of bad right now, and we just got to work through it. But remember, we got it if we help each other, if we all be part of our own village here and help us help each other work it all out. That part there. Now we're gonna take a commercial break here on the show, and then we're gonna get to the topic that was pretty high. Hopefully, some of y'all that left will come on back because we want to hear especially from you, the JT the DJ TP, because you know I don't like to say that man's name because I have that type of non-respect. And even in this argument where I'm gonna be open-minded, I still can't bring me to speak the name of the devil because that's how I feel about him at the minute. But anyway, when we come back, we are going to talk to you, the Trump supporters. We are going to be open-minded and consider your proposal to have y'all join y'all as y'all consider putting this man back in office. But before I do that, I got a few questions and things I need for y'all to clear up, okay? And we'll get to that when we get back. This is Get Off This Lawn Live. I am your host, Eric Buckner. Shout out to all my people in the Nighthawk Network, particularly the ones in the support group checking in this evening. I appreciate y'all. Also, shout out to the party and people on the party and that. Cash Dollars, DJ Joe Rock, Tom Moody. We see you. We see you. I will be back, and then let's get into it. You want me to vote for your dude? I can't wait to hear from y'all. Let's do
it. We're not asking for your permission. We're not seeking your approval. We're claiming what's ours in the name of our ancestors. We are their answered prayers. This is more than a movement. This is a revolution. Black Innocence. What are yours today?
Hello, hello, hello. It's another glorious day, my T-Sippers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your comforts together because it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat.
Can't wait. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat.
Darling.
The views and opinions expressed here on Get Off My Lawn Live are those of the host or his guests and do not necessarily reflect those of the Nighthawk Network or its associates. Viewer and listening discretion is advised. All right, we are back. This is Get Off This Lawn Live, the new incantation of my show. I am your host, Eric Buckner, E-Buck, the Nighthawk in the building, ready to talk to y'all. Okay, now based just on a few comments I got before we really got into it, this could get really juicy. Remember, y'all, we want to try to keep these things as respectful as we can, but I know I am talking a subject that is very touchy to many of us. That is the topic of the previous president. Now, I decided in my wisdom to say, hey, what if, just what if for a moment, I suspend my thoughts in regards to how I really feel about that individual and give the people who just don't see it the way I see it the opportunity to help me understand why this man is the man for the job in 2024. I promise you, there are three things that one of you or more of you are going to throw in the mix in regards to this subject. When we get to any of those three things, I will definitely point it out because it's the same three things you always bring up when it comes to heat. So that being said, let's see who says the magic words. But in the meanwhile, the subject is, how can you the Trump supporter, helped to convince me that your guy is the guy for 2024. Now, let me first point out that at this point in time, I've declared myself an independent. I am not Republican nor Democrat. However, I am leaning toward the Democratic side at this time because basically they are the less troublesome of the two. But I do see flaws in both, absolutely. And let me also say that I am not in full support of the current administration. As many of the things that I pointed out on my show when President Biden first got elected, you can go back to that show and check it out. He has yet to accomplish, though he did get a couple of them done by signing the Inflation Reduction Act today. So shout out to you, Joe, for doing your job, at least for today. And he was quick to point out, and no Republicans supported any of this bill. None of them voted for it at all. Smart play on his part. But anyway, I must admit, he is not my first choice for 2024 either at this point. I think, Joe, you might seriously want to consider making yourself a one-term president and letting somebody else have the opportunity to carry the ball from here. But that's a discussion for another day. Right now, we're talking about your boy, DJ Trump. And what I need for you as a Trump supporter to explain to me in order for me to consider in real life voting for this man for president of these United States in 2024. Now, basically, I have 6 ways you can earn my vote. And anybody that wants to chime in with their comments, by all means, feel free. Trump supporters, this is an open space for you this evening. Do not hide in the shadows. By all means, we want to hear all of your comments, your honest opinions. Please let us know, because we really need to know how the other side feels about this and vice versa. Remember, these are the conversations that we need to have as people. And if we can't have these conversations, that's why we never get nowhere. That is why we have become so very divided as a country at this time. So that being said, let's get to it. First of all, I need to tell you that for the sake of this argument, I am willing to forgive, just for the sake of this argument, the lies and misinformation of his previous administration. In other words, when we talked about how you didn't know about COVID till January, when we found out later on you had information as early as October, how you called it and continued to call it for several months the China flu. Very disrespectful. Very. Even if it did come from China, you know you were stirring the pot by doing that. We're going to forgive the press conferences that were really more about me, and campaigning as opposed to updating us on COVID protocols. Okay? We are going to forgive that fateful day you decided to educate us on how we should get rid of COVID by perhaps injecting some type of bleach into people's body. We just gonna say that you just didn't think that through correct. We're gonna give you benefit of the doubt. We're gonna forgive all the nasty comments you made about many of our fellow Americans on your Twitter account, calling them horse face, telling them to go back to where they came from, saying that some of our world places are ish-hole countries. We're going to forgive all of those things. We're going to forgive you basically calling people Sleepy Joe and Crazy Nancy and so on and so forth. We're going to look past all of that in order to have this conversation. We are going to give you credit for the few things you did do that helped the economy. When you basically tried to convince us we should buy more American. That part was true. As you see, your predecessor, your person who took over for you is adopting some of that same philosophy himself. We are going to give you credit for what you did for the HBCUs as people of color. That is something that should have been done. That is something that people have definitely turned around and criticized your predecessor, Barack Obama, for not doing. I will give you credit for that. For some of the few good things you did, there were all those bad things you did. Okay? So that point, let's get to the real crust of the discussion. Let's just say I forgave all that. I still need some understanding on these following topics. First of all, I need you as a grown ass man of over 70 plus years old to come to the microphone one day real soon and admit the truth and stop spreading the big lie. Y'all know it was a big lie. This man lost the presidency by almost 8 million votes, okay? 8 million. You mean to tell me that you come on TV and say not only did you win, it should have been a landslide? Do you not understand, people, that that means that you are saying there are over 10 million, let's say, 12 million even, crooked, illegal votes that led to you not currently being president? 12 million. Let me put a face on that number. The largest city in these United States, of course, is New York City, New York. Over 8.5 million people currently stay in the city of New York. Add to that, say, the city of Chicago. You mean to tell me that many people, that amount, that 12 million, actually did vote for you or didn't vote at all, and that's why you won by a landslide? Do you understand how ridiculous that sounds? Let's also point out that you sued and lawsuited damn near every other state in the union. And then every last one of those lawsuits came up. No, you wrong. That didn't happen. Incorrect. Thrown out of court. Understand that many of these people that tried these cases were people you appointed to the bench. You put them as judges. You appointed more federal judges than any president in any 4-year term ever, including 3 people on the Supreme Court who also threw out many of your frivolous lies. You don't even trust the people you put in charge. So if you want to get my vote, I need you to come correct and real and tell the people that the voting was not compromised to the extent that you have said. Were there bad ballots in there? Yes. Are there always bad ballots every time? Yes. Are there 12 million plus worth of bad ballots in any election here in these United States, one of the most secure places on planet Earth? No. All right, we got me checking in. Why are people shouting the lie but never shouted the truth that Hillary won the popular vote the first time? I was going to get to that, but thanks for pointing that out. Why aren't they shouting amend the electoral college? Amen. Why aren't they shouting, where are your tax returns that he still has not shown? Again, Meet, you jumping the gun on some of this, but yeah, add that to what I'm going to say. And keep in mind, any of you Trump people that are in the room, this is your opportunity to post a comment and contradict anything I'm saying, anything I got wrong. Please have your facts and truth straight so that we can give you benefit of the doubt, okay? I don't want this to all be a one-sided conversation if it ain't got to be. Whoever spoke up earlier saying, yeah, me, I want to hear from you, me. Come on back in here and speak up, man. And bring some of your people if you don't want to be alone. Let them know the show going on. I need more viewership anyway. Y'all all can come on in here. We can go back and forth about this thing. That's what I want. All right. Next, I need for y'all on that side to admit that DJ Trump made some bad choices along the way. That everything he did do was not in the best interest of this country. That he did do things that were problematic. He did make mistakes. Remember, this man was impeached not once, but twice for things that was proven he did. He did what we said he did in regards to Ukraine. The call was made. the point was made that, yeah, don't send them the money until they say what we want them to say. Yes, you turn around and did the right thing eventually, but that's after it was pointed out to people in government that, yeah, you might want to do that. So, yeah, you did it. We had several witnesses that made that account that you did. The other witnesses you didn't even allow to testify. So if they would have came and told the truth, I'm sure we would have knew even more. The second time you was impeached, yeah, you did that too. You know you did it, okay? You're not going to admit to that much, I don't think. But I do need you to admit that you made some mistakes. You definitely, for those people that always want to talk about, well, yeah, take your governor. She messed up by putting people in nursing homes that had COVID back in the nursing home. Yeah, that was a mistake on her part. And I want her to be woman enough to admit that. But also, he made a mistake of not taking COVID seriously enough early on in the pandemic. When he came on TV and telling us it's more uh, Democratic conspiracy thing. That was what he was saying at first. Then he said, it's like the flu, you just look up one day and it's all will be gone. It's 3 years something later. It ain't gone. It's still here, y'all. We still dealing with COVID and different variants thereof. Not to mention now monkeypox and polio. So no, it didn't go away, buddy. You was the one talking about at first vaccines. Nah, we can't trust that too fast. But then you wisely put the speediation on it to where these vaccines could be pumped out and sent out to areas of the country as soon as they were able and available and made available to people. But you also dogged it so much that you made many people not trust taking the vaccine. You didn't do a good job of allowing the people that knew what it really was about to explain it without talking over them and explaining contradictory things to what they were saying. That's why to this day, many people are like, yeah, I ain't messing with that vaccine. I'm good. That's that government stuff. Perhaps if you had learned people's thought processes early on about it, you would have made it to where it seemed like government oversight was not a big deal, so that they would look at it more from a medical standpoint than a government standpoint. That was one of the mistakes I feel you made. When you set up the commission to deal with COVID, you should have let them do their job. When they had the press conferences, you shouldn't have been involved more times than not. It should have been Dr. Fauci or the other doctor, I forget her name. Those were the ones that should have been answering the daily questions. You should have been in the room only when you were needed. You were not needed every day. We did not need you to come on and campaign because you were not able to go out and about with the people at the time because of COVID. And you used that opportunity to campaign to America instead because you know a lot of us will be tuned in to hear your foolishness. Those were mistakes that I need you to admit to. If you could do that, then yeah, I'm gonna start to listen. Here's something else I need you to account for. Trump and Trump supporters. Money. The money. Cash money is your primary concern. Of course, nobody has jumped out in the room and made no comments yet, but usually when you talk to Trump supporters and ask why he should still be president, why you want him back, one of the first things a vast majority of them bring up was when he was president, I was making money. He is a business person, so he knows how to get the government to have me make more money. Yeah, when he cut taxes for the multi-rich, that benefited my company, so on and so forth. That's one of the first things people bring up when talking about DJ Trump. Okay? Now, first of all, understand, in this world, it shouldn't be all about the money, but sadly, that is what a lot of us have been bred to believe as Americans. In other countries, money's a concern, obviously, but quality of life, religion, family, those things take precedence over what we view as important in this democracy of capitalism. It should not be all about the money all the time. Okay? When we had to spend trillions of dollars to keep the ball rolling during the pandemic with the good old stimulus packages and whatnot, initially he was against it. No, we ain't got to send them money. No, they good. We ain't gonna be shut down long. Blah 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 blah. Then his good buddies down there in Texas and Florida was like, yeah, we open back up already. We'll be all right. And to this day, they still have some of the worst COVID numbers in the country, low key. Low key because I don't even think they're being honest about their COVID counts, purposely so. Because they don't want any type of thing that's going to make them look bad as they come up for reelection. As both of them consider running for bigger offices. And Lord knows if we do not get DJ Trump, please don't bring me a DeSantis as a better option. Hell no. Y'all know how I feel about the governor of Florida. Please no. But that being said, if money is your only consideration, yeah, I see what your pattern of thinking is. Keep in mind, when Obama was in charge, shout out to President Obama, a lot of the things that were making the money flow here in America was already in place before DJ Trump came into office. Let's keep it real. He came into the office with the office making money because your boy, Mr. Bush, messed up a lot of stuff on his way out the door. And he had to clean up that mess. And for those of you, even those people of color that say, man, Obama didn't do nothing, especially for black people, then why are you voting back in office after the first 4 years? Stupid. If you feel like he wasn't good enough, you should have put him back in. You feel like he wasn't getting what you wanted done, that he was just going to come in and reparations was going to jump off and every black person was going to have a mansion and a yacht and 40 acres. If that was your real purpose for voting for him, then you was stupid anyway. Anyway, Meech is saying, ever since he said he did not pay taxes for 20 years because of loopholes, every business person jumped on his bandwagon, especially those that were doing the same things. Let's talk about Elon Musk. Remember when he basically had to sell stock so he could put some money in for taxes because he basically said, I ain't paid no taxes in a while. Elon Musk, richest man in the world. Let's talk about the owner of Amazon, Mr. Bezos. That brother ain't paying no taxes. So yeah, that's why he can give his wife $100 billion settlement and make it all back in less than 5 years during the pandemic, no less. So yeah, I get that. But my whole thing is money should not be the only consideration for why you choose a president. If that is your main reason for wanting him back because you feel like he made you a boatload of money, I need you to really seriously analyze the whole situation. Because I promise you, was making some of that same money them last few years of Obama as well. But don't want to give him credit for it because ... I'll let you fill in those blanks. Shout out to So-So in the building. What up, So-So? Another thing I need you to clear up for me and make me understand to where it makes sense. I need for your former president to actually come on the airwaves and at some point truly and completely denounce the supreme white supremacy groups, the racial supremacy groups, period. I need him to do that for real, not stand up and stand by whatever the hell he said to let them know, yeah, those same people that popped up in January 6th, like, okay, all right, it's time to do what we came to do. We know that he knew that they had weapons of mass destruction in that crowd that day and still invited them to join him at the Capitol to stop this vote from going through. Based on the discussions at the January 6th hearings, it said that, in fact, you wanted to make sure you went to see what was up, and they didn't allow you to go, and you was not happy about that. Now, yeah, it could be said, well, that's what they said. He didn't say that. His people didn't say that. The ones that he told to be quiet about it, the ones that signed executive privilege and pleading the fifth and all that. And by the way, as me pointed out earlier, what's up with that? We have several documented speeches where you have come on and said pleading the fifth was weak. You got on Hillary big time for pleading the fifth in regards to her emails. But when it came your turn to tell what you knew about what you knew, you pled the fifth over 420 some times at this recent hearing. They are expecting your presence down there in Georgia at some point. Are you going to do the same thing then? You know they want to talk to you about the January 6th incident at the hearings. They asked you to come and speak. You going to do that? I really need you to do that. If you don't do anything else on this list, I need you to go down to DC and sit in front of the microphone and, like a grown ass man, answer all the questions, good, bad, otherwise, and let us know in no uncertain terms you ain't do none of this and have us to where we believe you. If it is the truth, that will be very simple for you to do. But if there are lies involved, if there are things you did not want us to know you really said and did, then more than likely you're going to do the same thing you did in New York. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. You cannot be my president and be constantly pleading the fifth and expect me to trust you as the head of this America. Meech is now saying, but I say constantly, if you did not pay taxes, you were not for America. You did not put money into schools, prisons, police, fire, hospital, infrastructure, etc. You did nothing but make a selfish move to go after Dubai. He was saying 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth. Exactly. That part, Hugh. So again, Trump people, me, where you at, me? Did you leave the room? When you felt like you was gonna be outnumbered, did you say, no, I ain't gonna speak on it? I ain't gonna put a name to this. You as a Trump supporter should not feel ashamed of your thought process, of being a person that is supporting him still. But I find that in many places where if you go in some place and it's a Republican run site, like over there at Fox News, and you can make your comments, and you as a Democrat have something to say against what is being said, it's like 90 comments on your comment that you was wrong. But basically, if you are a Republican and agreeing with the people and the crowd there, you got 80 likes. That is where the discrepancy comes in, y'all. That's where we're not getting nowhere. I'm allowing you this opportunity to explain to us why you feel we are wrong. I will, in fact, actually extend the olive branch and say, if you are a person that strongly feels he should be president again, if you feel he's still the president and we lying about it, I will definitely invite you to come on this show and we can have a respectful conversation about the matter. I will be man enough to let you take your spot on this other side of my face and say your piece. And as long as you are willing to hear mine in return, we can do this. Because if we have more of those type of conversations, we might actually get somewhere and making America great again. Again. Whatever. Anyway, but yeah, I need you to denounce these white supremacy groups because they are against all of America, okay? America, when you are president of these United States, you are president of these United States, not just for the people of non-color, non-pigmentation, not just the people that believe that white people should be in charge and that's that, not people that believe race replacement theory and any of that other garbage that are against CRT and want to teach our kids that slavery wasn't that bad and we shouldn't talk about it because it makes your kids feel bad. Those people you supporting, I need you to let them know that ain't right. Because it ain't. And if you believe it's right, again, come on the show and explain to me. Prove to me why it's right and we the ones that's wrong. I dare you. Meech is saying, and it's because of BS like that, which has us single with no dependence being the purse of America. Exactly. Because who do we trust if we can't trust that? That indeed. Okay, I also, Trump supporters and DJ, need you to acknowledge the truth about global warming as we are sitting here in basically the hottest summer America has ever had as a group, where several places throughout this country are going through drought-like conditions in terms of the water. where we got more forest fires going on than ever? Can we talk about global warming and stop saying it's just some scientific political bullshit? Can you come with the real with that? Can you sit down with some actual scientists and let them explain to you what's really going on? And you come out of that meeting saying, you know what, I was wrong. My bad. My bad. If you could do that, I'll listen. And most important, when you come back and start the campaign and start to tell us that we got a lot of these things wrong in terms of the bills that's been passed by the Democrats, can you please explain to me what you're going to do that is better instead? I am still waiting for your health care plan that is better than Obamacare or Biden care. That was going to be so much better than what we had. That wasn't going to be as costly, all of that. I'm still waiting for that plan. Because I promise you, if that plan is better than theirs, I will support it. Whether you are in charge or not, I'll be first going to be like, you know what? I understand that Democrats charge all that, but we need to pass that Trump bill about the health care. I think that'll help a lot more people. If you can produce that to where it's making sense from a financial standpoint, from a common sense standpoint, I'm more than willing to hear that from you. Cash Dollars is saying he's just undone all Obama done when he got in office. And yeah, while we on that subject, we already know what the thought process is going to be as soon as you get back in office. One of the first things you're going to work on is to deal with all your enemies, all the people that was against you, anybody in Congress that didn't have your back, anybody from a government standpoint that did not agree with you. You're going to be trying to replace them and fire them as quick as you can. We see how well you are at picking cabinet people. Understands with like almost 2 years now, how many people in the Biden camp you see leaving a job and somebody else got to be appointed? Yeah, he got another press secretary, maybe one more person. It seemed like every other week when DJ Trump was in charge, okay, now we got to get rid of this person. Now the Secretary of State want to leave. Now this person want to leave. Now that person want to leave. Someone, right? There's some reason why all your people got to quitting and had to be replaced. The minute that they said something wrong or they seen you do something wrong and you weren't trying to listen. Cash is also saying COVID-19 wouldn't have been that bad if he let the plans Obama had in action, because he did have plans for that. Now, granted, he pointed out that the national stockpile was low in regards to some of the things that we needed. So again, that was one thing I will give him credit for rebuilding that stockpile with stuff we needed. That was smart. You listen to somebody that day. But all in all, your overall job, you did not do well. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the president that's currently in office is doing a way better job than you, because he's not. I'll admit that. I'm going to give y'all that. He's not. But he is dealing with things in a lot more professional and a lot less chaotic fashion than the previous president, that's for sure. I do not want the chaos back. I do not want the lies back. I do not want to sit and listen to your press conference and feel like, oh my God, what is this fool gonna say now? I don't want you to come back disrespecting the press corps and whatnot. As a former member of the press, I was not happy with you in regards to that. Some of the things you said to people in the press were so very unnecessary and very not professional and very not presidential-like at all. So if you're willing to change some of that behavior, I will listen as well. Now, as I wrap up this discussion, I will say, if you are able to do all those things effectively, not only will I pledge to you my vote, but I will take these airways every Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever and encourage others to vote for your candidate, DJ Trump, as well. Now, based on the fact that what I've said will never happen for the most part, he'll take a few bits and pieces of that and weave it into what he's going to attempt to do. Ain't no way on God's green earth with these two hands and this writing pen where I've ever circled the name DJ Trump for president. It will not happen. And if that leads me to be threatened and my show sabotaged and all that, like y'all like to do with folks, so be it. These are the opinions of me, the host. Your discretion is advised. So when I got to talking about it, I see some of y'all left the room. Y'all ain't want to hear it. Y'all ain't want to hear it because either you knew it was a bunch of mess or y'all didn't want to hear it because you felt like I wasn't going to be fair to you for real. I wanted to hear from you. I really did. And if later on you view this podcast and you see what I said and you want to add your comments after the fact, you want to hit up my messenger or my IG with your opinions after the fact, by all means do so. I can discuss them next week. If you want to say leave this anonymous, but this is what I feel. If you want to be a coward about it, nah. I say stand to what you're saying. My name is EAB, and I approve this message. I said what I said. Amy checking back in. I'm still here, not a DJT person, but I'm here nonetheless. I hear you. Absolutely. Like I said, for the record, I am independent right now. I'm not Democrat or Republican. I really feel like in an ideal world in 2024, when they are all on stage, I don't want to see the face of DJT or President Biden. I need us to have new visionaries, new people to be president and vice president. Sorry, Kamala, but I don't think you are the person for the job either, boo. I got to be honest. I'm just not getting enough energy from you. And I'm not getting enough of me feeling like you telling us the real deal Holyfield. So yeah, I can't support you like that either, unless I'm left with no choice. That being said, that's my feelings on it. Trump people, feel free to check in. Like I said, you want to do it afterwards, that's fine. You want to do it anonymously, that's fine. Just let us know how you feel. And if you could convince me, a open-minded person, that I am wrong in my thoughts about GJT, and you have the information to back it all up to where it makes sense, and I can explain it to other folks that we all got it wrong, then I'll do that. But knowing that 9 times out of 10 you cannot, because a lie is a lie, no matter how you dress up the pig with the lipstick, however that saying go, that yeah, I ain't worried about it. Amy checking back in. I'm also an independent voter. I want to see fresh blood in politics, absolutely. I want to see a rise in inspirational grassroots candidates that I could believe in, people that can't be bought and all of that. All right, here we go. Zach says, I am back. Yes, I know, my friend. You are a supporter of GJ Trump. By all means, the floor is yours. Type in any comment that you would like in regards to that. I definitely want to hear from you, Zach Morgan, a good friend of mine from another one of my social media sites. So you know I do respect your opinion on most things, but when it comes to your boy, not so much. Yes, sir. Why do you feel we should reinstate DJ Trump, sir? That is my first question. And my second question is, why do you feel he is in the best interest of you and your household? If you could please answer those two questions for me, I appreciate it. Meanwhile, Pride is posting something in the comments. Of course, I can't do that right now, Pride, but if you can quickly tell me what that's about so I can educate the people, I appreciate it. But yeah, as I give Zach a chance to type in his comments, I will say, like I said, some of my better friends are Trump supporters. Zach is one of them. He's a good guy. I've not known him long, but from what I know of him, he's a good guy. He's a stand-up guy. He's gone through some things in his life, but ultimately he has overcome them and he is moving forward. But one of the things that we don't agree upon is his political affiliation, particularly when it comes to DJ Trump. And several of his family members are Trump supporters as well. A couple of them that I am cool with. So yeah, I'm always interested to hear their opinions in regards to what's going on. I respect them as people enough to have those opinions, and they do the same for me. So I appreciate that. But I just say, your guy, he's a bad dude. And I think as the weeks and months go on, when we find out more about the Mar-a-Lago investigation, the discussions in Georgia about him trying to get votes from there, the situation in New York in regard to his business practices, the New Jersey situation. I think there's another one in Pennsylvania that he eventually had to deal with as well. I want to hear his answers in regards to that. Or is he going to basically go around the country talking to the people that support him, but when it comes time to talk to the officials and whatnot, he's going to take that time and plead the fifth. Cash Dollars is saying Sarah Palin is running for something and Trump is backing her. Yes, currently Sarah Palin is running for one of the seats in the House of Representatives in Alaska. That is happening this evening, the primary in Alaska. More than likely, she will move on to the general election in November. And it's a pretty good possibility that she will win that seat. Keeping in mind that anybody that supports Trump, Trump is definitely showing his love and affection for right now, including the Republican candidate here, young Tudor Dixon. Thank you, Tudor. Sorry, Tudor. Just based on what I've heard, your opinions is in regards to many things. It ain't happening, boo. You won't get this vote. All right, Zach is checking and he is saying, I feel when Trump was in office, our economy was getting better. Our lives were all getting better, even though he was dealing with a bunch of people trying to throw him out the whole time. He was literally making America great again. I'm not saying that some of his policies were not high strung, because some of them were. But I feel like if you was able to do what he was trying to do, a lot of things will be better now. But I will say both parties lied to us. So basically, Zach is admitting that he agrees with some of my opinion and not so much with the other. As I pointed out, whenever people talk about their feelings in regards to Trump, one of the first things they mention, just as Zach did, is the economy, their pockets, the money. But I also point out to you, Zach, as I did earlier, perhaps you were not back, you already said you weren't in the room when I did, that it was actually a lot of Obama's influence in the last couple of years of his presidency that led to our economy being the way it was early on in the Trump administration. He just carried over some of those same things. He rode that wave. The economy was very good the last year that Obama was in office. And I need you to admit that and understand that. And he just basically rode the wave from there. He took those numbers and made them better. I will acknowledge that. I will also acknowledge that if not for COVID, it is a very good possibility that Trump would still be our president. That is in the realm of possibility, I feel. But the way he mismanaged COVID-19, in addition to all the other things he did, that is why he was voted out of office by 8 million people. Now, I do acknowledge that you, Zach, have sense enough to not believe in the big lie in regards to him saying that we stole the vote. We've had that discussion, so I know you don't believe that. All right, he's saying, I suggest if you get a chance, watch the movie 2000 Mules. All right, that is a movie that he would like for us to check out. So if you got some time to check that on out, 2000 Mules, I assume it will explain some of the things that we are discussing in regards to the subject. I thank you, Zach, for being part of that discussion, sir. I appreciate you for coming forth and putting a name to it and whatnot. Again, Zach Morgan is a good friend of mine. I thank you for not disrespecting his opinion in regards to that, whether you agree with him or not. Of course, he knows I do not. And when you say making America great again, I honestly feel, Zach, as I've told you before, America has never been great. How could you be a country that's great when you choose to, for many years, not acknowledge a good part of your citizenry between the people who are Hispanic, the people who are African American, the people who are of native lands, when some people feel like they are not true Americans? When for many years, if you are a woman or a person of color, if you are not a white property owner, you did not have a say-so in our government at all. You had no actual vote in the process. That is not what great countries do. All right, Amy says, I have a question for the DJT supporters. So Zach, if you're still in the building, Amy would like to ask you a question. As of the moment, Trump is our best plan for as a Republican. But I would love to see a whole new government from the House of Representatives all the way up. So pretty much new blood. So you kind of agree with me with that as well. Okay, Zach says yes, he's willing to answer your question. So go ahead and ask your question, Amy. Meanwhile, Cash Dollars is saying he stopped many. Well, I mean, I have a few friends who loved him because of the taxes, and he stopped many sex trafficking in the world. Well, there's definitely an increase in sex trafficking. We talked about that this morning on the EB Morning Show that you can check out on the partying platform, by the way, that there is definitely an increase in people coming up missing and sex trafficking going on throughout the country and throughout the world. So I don't know how much of that he actually stopped. Yes, remember, one of his major things he did in office was do a tax cut for the mega rich. So yeah, I imagine a lot of them did like that. Great countries stick together, not go against each other. Remember, there was a lot of non-support by the Trump administration for our allies that oftentimes he went against what they wanted to do with NATO and whatnot, though he did make a valid point in regards to them paying their fair share for security throughout the world, that America was putting a lot of that bill, and there were countries that could afford to chip in more. That much I did agree with. Like I said, there were things that were done and discussed by DJ Trump that I did agree with, but those were few and far between. For the most part, I felt he ran the country off. Okay, I'm still waiting for Amy to type in her question and for Zach to answer said question before we head on out here. So I pretty much said what I had to say in regards to the subject, but I'm just wanting to hear from you guys. That's part of why we're here, so we can have these discussions. Okay, Amy's question is, what makes you lean toward accepting information that's outside of mainstream when it comes to conservative ideas? Respectfully, I can reconcile the information given the evidence I've seen. That is Amy's question for you, Zach. And I also want to point out that several of the Trump supporters basically supported him initially because he was not your run-of-the-mill government official, that he did not come as a career politician that was knee-deep in Congress and such, that he came from a place where he was more business-minded than government-minded. But we also see that when you elect someone who has no idea how government works because they are not part of those circles, they can cause chaos. Part of why I think he lost a lot of members of his early cabinet was because they were hired to advise him as to how he should move, and he had his own opinion, and he basically did not trust theirs. So as a result, they moved on. Why am I here? Basically, you saying what I'm saying is wrong, and you want to do what you want to do. Good luck with that. So I'm waiting for Zach to answer that question for Amy. Again, shout out to the people in the party and platform. Cash Dollars, Queen Gemini, DJ Joe Rock in the building. Shout out to Rachel, the person running the ship over there at Party SG. Again, we will have a discussion about that soon in regards to how all that works and how you can come support us on the platform there and listen in to what we got going. Okay, Zach has now chipped in. He says that one of the main things I like about Trump is that he's not government, he is business. Again, something that a lot of Trump supporters always like to point out. I believe personally our government is really screwed up. You know, this was and supposed to be a free country, but it does seem like it is a freeze, what it should be or used to be. And yeah, like I said, I get the standpoint where you're coming from in regards to the whole government as usual thing. You definitely see that when we look at some of the career politicians, those are the ones that usually speak up in regards to what they like and don't like about what's being done. In other words, the Mitch McConnells and the Lindsey Grahams and who's the guy in New York? Shermer and Pelosi, those people. The people that's basically been in Congress since they was youngins and still basically have in their mind, this is how government should be run and that's it. There is no revised need to change my thought process in regards to that, the same ones I've had 30, 40 years ago. Amy is saying, for example, the voting machines were not tampered with. Yet the conservative information says that not only were the machines tampered with, but they transmitted information to space, then to Italy and Russia, where they were changed to Biden votes, and then sent back through space to return to the USA to cheat Republicans out of their vote. What makes this appealing and acceptable information to you? And let me also point out that, remember, even before it was done, the previous president spoke out against allowing people to vote by mail, even though we know the primary reason why most people did so was because we were in a full-blown pandemic at that point. And it was better for the interest of all to not have people lined up in close quarters, placing a vote, passing COVID to one another. Seeing at that time, there was nobody vaccinated at that point. Vaccinations didn't take place, I believe, till after the election. So that is why we did that. Okay, Zach is saying, at the end of the day, even if I'm Republican and you're Democrat, and again, Amy is not, I am not, we are both independents, for the record, we should still respect and love each other before the government, because in real life, we got our neighbors got us. And that's what we should really focus on. I feel like the government is trying to divide us. And this is when we should all come together, just because we have different beliefs of certain things. So always remember to treat your neighbors and everyone kindly. Thank you for that, Zach Morgan. I do approve that message. You was here, you would get to that, bruh, because I completely agree with that. At the end of the day, we are not in these games, these political games that is Democrat, Republican. If the meteor hits us tomorrow and strikes our country, it ain't gonna care if it's Democrat or Republican. It's gonna hit. And at that point, we as the people will have to figure out what to do next. We ain't gonna be able to say, well, it's the Democratic part of Indiana, so I ain't gonna worry about that. As long as my place safe. That's not how we do. As real Americans, the real ones of us, that's not how we do. We look out for our fellow people as good citizens of any sovereign nation that has the interests of each other truly in mind. So yes, I very much like that statement, sir. But nonetheless, y'all, that is my discussion this evening in regard to that. I'm gonna have Amy had a last word here. Sorry, I'm not sure that answers my question, albeit a fine statement. And truthfully, it did not, but I will give him that. I don't think he's able to answer that, because the information that is required to answer that correctly is something that he nor none of us had, because most of it doesn't exist. It was wrong. It was false. The votes were not compromised to the extent that the previous administration would like for you to believe. Well, I would say the previous president, because many people in his cabinet basically said, look, sir, it just ain't possible what you're saying. There's no way that it was compromised to that extent. Because trust me, if it was, we would know by now. We've had several elections since then. And please explain to me why his votes were compromised, but other Republican senators and House of Representative members that won votes, theirs weren't compromised. Theirs was legit. They won. I do believe in the case of one place, I forget where it was, and having them recount the votes, he actually helped to lead the Republican person win the vote over the Democratic person. But for the most part, when the votes was counted, usually the Republican person lost by a more significant margin, which is part of his argument. We'll see why that. Keep in mind, I would say, in terms of what I recall, maybe over 4 million votes were eventually thrown out as a result to all these recalls and recants and whatnot. But then also remember that over 35% of the country did not place a vote at all. That leads to about a good 80 million people, maybe, that chose not to vote for either candidate. That part. So not only do you got to convince us, the people that more or less know what way we going, you got to convince the people that are undecided that he is your guy. Good luck with that. Anyway, that being said, we about to shut it on down. This has been Get Off My Lawn Live. Very nice discussion by all. Thank you all for being mannerable to one another, respecting each other's opinions in regards to that. Amy saying, yeah, the recounts ended up backfiring a bit. Indeed, it did. I appreciate you all for coming in and having your comments. I really wish more of y'all could have stayed earlier on. Maybe I should have switched the subjects and talked about one first and then the other. I would take that as a programming note for the future. But keep in mind, tomorrow we will be back on these airways with Game Time Audible, me and my host, Mr. Hugh Lee, the sports guru. We'll be talking the latest in baseball. We'll be updating you on the WNBA playoffs as they start tomorrow. We will be talking about the Little League World Series and a couple other things in sports, as well as the show within the show, the Guru's football session with your man Hugh Lee talking all things football, college and pro. So please tune into that. That will be at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on the Facebook Live and YouTube Live until next Tuesday, where we hopefully will have the great Dr. Marlon Farsi being my co-host. I am your boy, Eric Buckner, E. Buck the Nighthawk. Good to see you as always, friend Amy. You know I love you. And that being said, we are going to head on out. As always, be safe, be blessed. Remember, pandemic still out here, pot still out here, hell, polio out here, people with one of these still out here. Be safe, y'all. Be blessed. And hopefully we will see you again this time next week, Lord willing. Amen. I am out. Here's the fingers and